Welcome in to another week of Yellow Jacket football. I'm Kay Crenshaw, joined alongside Allen head coach Teddy Keaton. Coach, your team sustained its first loss of the season to Fort Valley State. What were some of your takeaways on the night?
Well, as I said, we got a butt whooping. I think the key was execution. I think that they came out with a great game plan and they executed it at a high level. The difference in the teams is Fort Valley is a championship caliber program. Allen is an up-and-coming program that's still trying to hit its peak. And I think our kids had to learn some different things. They came ready to play football because they needed that win to keep themselves in position to be able to play for the SIAC championship. And we needed a win to be able to do what we need to do to sustain our drives and what we did. And they out-executed us.
As we work our way through the game, let's start in the pregame. We noticed Jamal Jones not dressing out. You say he was still dealing with a little bit of swelling in the knee. What's the latest on his injury status?
Well, he practiced yesterday. He went to the doctor on Saturday. He went to the ER Saturday morning because after Friday's practice, he had a lot of swelling. So we decided as a team it's just best for him not to play. He wanted to come. He kept asking us, could he play? And I told him, no, you just need to get it better because we're going to need you on down the road. Yesterday he did a really good job of practicing. I think he'll be ready this week.
We turn our attention up ahead to Clark Atlanta, but first, Coach, you get down early on in that first quarter, 21-zip. What was the message to the team to not allow such a big early deficit to discourage them?
We do it every day. It's called play the next play. It's the first quarter. We play the next play, keep doing what we do, not beating each other up, not getting down. We've been there before, so we've seen that. We've seen that against Kentucky State, and they were able to witness what they could do if they just stay focused on the process and not the end results.
David Wright III, another 350-yard passing game, this one 366. But Coach, 4 interceptions for David on Saturday. The first time in his career he's had a 4-interception game. What worked well at times, but also what didn't work so well for David Wright on Saturday?
Well, I think that it got to do with us as coaches too. We got to stop relying on David to have to do everything and make plays in the offense. And we got to develop some of our other areas in our offense to be able to take some pressure off of them. They played an umbrella coverage, and it was difficult to get. The windows were very tight. They were closed. If a ball was tipped, they were there to get it. If a window was too tight and he would throw and try to anticipate the throw, and a guy would rob him of a throw. They did a good job of mixing up their coverage and not just sitting in certain spots. They just moved around a lot. I think my hat goes off to Coach Gibbs. He did a really good job to what they did to slow David down. So we got to be able to counteract some of the things that people do to us. And in terms of making ourselves better, it's our job as coaches to get them better for that.
After the best start in school history, Coach, after your first loss of the season, what was the message to the team in the locker room?
I was proud of them. I'm still proud of them. They still got a lot to accomplish. They still got all their goals intact. We're still teaching them how to win. We're teaching them how to persevere. We would be remiss if we sit back and thought that in life you're not going to lose. There's going to be opportunities and things that's going to happen in life that's just not going to go your way. So you got to be able to bounce back. I call them adversity is a part of life. Don't let minor setbacks defeat you. Now, the question is how we respond after a loss, and that's going to be determined this week.
We turn our attention ahead to Clark Atlanta coming in here on Saturday night for Allen's next home game. And, Coach, at the top, a change this week for Clark Atlanta. Clark Atlanta making a head coaching change. Willie Slater relieved of his duties. Now, we're still waiting. Clark did say they're working through this week and will make an announcement soon about the future of their football program. Coach, how surprised were you of Coach Slater's firing just in his second season?
Very surprised. Coach Slater's a legendary coach. I think he's won like 170-some games. At Tuskegee, he was like 126. He was a part of, the UNA's 4 national championships as an offensive coordinator. He was the offensive coordinator at Troy University. He's done a lot in his career. He's had a stellar career. He's done what he needed to do. I just think that I don't know if he was given enough time. That's from a football coaching standpoint, you understand that it takes time to build programs, and also from an administration standpoint, there may be pressure for us to win and do the things that we need to do. So we know as a coach that one day it's going to come a time where they're going to tell you it's time for you to go. Some of the older coaches will tell you ain't coached until you've been fired.
Clark Atlanta 0-5 on the season. Coach, sometimes when there's a coaching change mid-season, things can change on film, scheme-wise, personnel-wise. How do you adapt to that this week in preparation for your team?
We just got to go with what we see on film. You ain't going to get too far away from what you do because there's a chance of it getting, screwed up really bad. I call teams like Clark Atlanta wounded deer teams. The deer got shot. He's wounded, but he's not dead. So, sometimes these guys can come back and a change could make it be where it's a breath of fresh air. It might be a change that was needed. We don't know how the players responded to it, the emotional part of that. Sometimes the coaches can inspire them to come out and play their best ball. And you've seen it at Auburn when they made the change from the guy that was coaching, and then he turned around and Cadillac Williams took over, and they took on Texas A&M that next week and pulled out a win. It was supposed to be an upset. So the question is, the pressure's on us is how we respond. We can't let that change our focus, our preparation, and what's going on. And we got to have the mindset that they're going to come play football and it's a game and we got to show up and play.
Well, Coach, before we get more in-depth on our preview of Clark Atlanta this Saturday, let's take a look at this week's coaching spotlight. Marvin Cunningham, a brand new man on your coaching staff as a defensive assistant. What was the process like bringing him in? I know he has a prior relationship with Coach Cole on the defensive side.
Well, I didn't know Marvin, but we were coached by the same guy in high school. He grew up in the same area that I grew up in, and him and Coach Cole, he was on Coach Cole's staff at Sidney Lanier, and they kind of became friends at that time. They won the city championship, and then Coach Cole left and went somewhere else, and Coach Cunningham took over and done a tremendous job. Always had a tremendous amount of respect for his program, his kids, the people he put out. He always had top tier talent there, and he was a ball coach. Coach Cunningham came here his son played for us here, Corinthians, at Allen, and I just was an opportunity to be able to get him, and Coach Cole said we could get Coach Cunningham to come help us, and he's a quarterback. Most people think he's a defensive, but he's a quarterback. So he's an offensive-minded guy, so he's added his value on the offensive side of the ball and on the defensive side of the ball. So we're proud to have him upstairs to be able to help us make those adjustments and help us do the things that we need to do in order for us to get better.
If those at home haven't caught on yet, there's a common theme on your coaching staff. Alabama ties, Alabama ties, Alabama ties. You look all around, it's a huge presence of Alabama natives and guys who coached in Alabama here at Allen. We'll take a short break and be joined by Coach Cunningham on the other side, right back here on Yellow Jacket Football.
There's a hidden gem in downtown Columbia, South Carolina. Are you ready to witness the epitome of grit and passion? Well, welcome to Allen University Athletics. From dazzling plays on the basketball court to the electrifying crowd, we've got tradition and we've got pageantry. Fueled by determination and unwavering spirit, coaches will push everyone's limits, game after game. At Allen University, we believe in the power of unity, teamwork, and resilience. Together, we rise. Be a part of the legacy and experience the thrill of Allen University Athletics. For more information, visit our athletics website at auyellowjackets.com.
Welcome back into Yellow Jacket Football. Kate Crenshaw now joined by Allen defensive assistant coach Marvin Cunningham. Coach, thanks so much for taking time to join us this week. How's the first year for you at Allen settling in?
Well, it's been really good. I like the environment. Most of the people that's here, they have been welcoming. We're just trying to do our best to turn the program around and get head in the right direction. I think Coach Keene had done an excellent job of setting the organization up to be great. So it's just up to us to kind of just piggyback on what he's done and kind of make this program go in the right direction.
Your first time jumping into the collegiate world of coaching, what sparked that interest for you?
Well, I came in for the spring. Coach Cole talked to me about coming in in the spring and working with the team and seeing, whether or not I was interested in, doing the job. And when I got here, I was just surprised at the talent that Allen had. I didn't think that, that Allen had that much talent. And then when I realized that someone had done an excellent job of recruiting, it just kind of made it easy. Came in and gelled with the coaching staff and some of the players, and things just started to kind of head the right direction. It just was a feel in the air that the opportunity would be a good one for me and that we could advance what we're doing here at Allen, and I could just be a part of that. So I was excited to join the program.
You mentioned defensive coordinator L.C. Cole there. You two have known each other for almost over 20 years now. It goes all the way back to early 2000s, coaching together in Alabama down at Sidney Lanier High School. Championship winning coaching staff there at Sidney Lanier. When you think back to 2006, L.C. Cole, to 2023, how do they compare?
Well, I think Coach is how he's adjusted to the culture. I mean, I think everybody's had to do that with the media, with social media, and how things go now. He's adjusted well, and sometimes as an older coach, it's kind of hard to gel because certain things you have a stigma for. But I think he's done a really good job of that. And as far as for him and me, when I came in as a young pup, he took me on his wing, made me get up early in the morning and do things that other coaches didn't have to do. And I'm appreciative of that now because, sometimes coaches come in and they don't like to let you know what's going on as far as how they do things. And he wasn't that way with me. He took me on his wing, as I said, and just, kind of formed me into a man and helped me, football-wise at progressing and doing things that you do on a college level, high school level, and I kind of implemented those things in my program also. So it's been a big factor for me as a young coach and as an older coach also now.
When I was at practice last week, you could tell you two have a very close relationship. And Coach Cole's a guy, not just in games, but in practice, everyday life, he doesn't like to lose very often. So when the offense is going up against the defense and you're helping spot the ball up the field, I saw Coach Cole a couple times, giving a little grief about the spot and maybe giving the offense an extra yard or two. Well, how does that help in the coaching circle of being such close friends and having such good rapport with one another? How does that translate to the football field?
Well, anytime you're a coach, there's going to be a competitive edge that you try to gain. And no matter what is game or in practice, that's coach identity, that's who he is. And I think all of us is the same way. We go out and we compete on a daily basis, whether it's practice or, just our thought process. Even in our meetings sometime, we bump heads, but we like to agree to disagree. And that comes with a staff with half the experience that we have. Coach Keaton allows us to do some things that, I don't know if other coaches would allow us to do as far as just, blending our talents together. And anytime, you have football coaches that have been head coaches, you're going to have that. And it's a good thing because it shows our kids that there's a way to compete without being in your feelings. So we do a good job of that as a staff, and that's one of the things I think that's moved us forward as a program.
Coach Cunningham here joining us, the defensive assistant for Allen football. Coach, defensive assistant, the title, but you're also involved in the quarterback room. You help out the offense sometimes. Just walk us through a week-to-week, day-to-day. What does all your job duties entail?
Well, first of all, is getting us ready for practice, getting the practice schedule ready. I think Coach Keaton allows me to do that with his input, of course. And we do a good job of just quality control. That means we look at our film, game film, our practice film, and that prepares us for the next practice or the next game, so to say. I think as a staff, you always have to look at what you can do to make your team better. It's not just all about the kids and how they do things. It's about creating habits that's going to last throughout the game and throughout life. And those are some of the things that we try to do. And as far as, me on this staff, I'm just a peed in the pod. I like to say that. All of us come together and do things. We have input on everything that goes on. And far as the offense, I just try to give them, the identity of the defense that week, what they're going to do, what some of the things, talk to the quarterbacks about leverage and, different things of that aspect. And I think Coach Keaton does a good job of also all during the week. He just kind of, talks to us about what the quarterbacks need to do, just what the offense need to do as a whole. And I think when you coaches put their minds together and think about the situation or the quality control, as we say, it'll be okay. And that's what we kind of do as a staff. I think all of us just take a big part in the wins and the losses, and that's what it takes to be a successful program.
Coach Allen, 4-1 on the season. You're turning your attention to Clark Atlanta, but let's hit the rewind button for a moment. When you look back at the loss to Fort Valley State, what lessons do you take from that loss that you'll apply to this Saturday's matchup against the Panthers?
Well, anytime you come in and play a team of that caliber who has, championship values, as I like to say. You have to also meet those expectations. And I think we didn't meet those expectations mentally. We came in and, they just outplayed us. Let's just give them their credit. Their coaching staff had them ready to play. They came out and focused on the job at hand, and we kind of got a late start on offense and defense. And so with that being said, anytime you play a championship caliber program, you have to be prepared from the get-go on those squads. There's no coming back on those squads because they understand how to manage a game and do the right things. And you just have to give Fort Valley credit for what they did. And we did that as a coaching staff. When we did our quality control, we had to understand that we have to be better as coaches, and we have to prepare our kids a certain way and have the mentality a certain way. So, I mean, what else can you say? Fort Valley done a great job. Now we have to go back and get our kids' mindset ready to do the same thing this week. And I think we've done that.
He's Marvin Cunningham, defensive assistant coach for Allen. Really the do-it-all guy. Anything you look, Coach Cunningham is around. We'll take a break here on Yellow Jacket Football. Be back with more. Back with Coach Keaton. And Coach, we teased a little bit earlier, there's a big common theme of Alabama ties on your coaching staff, but also a great theme to have, and I know this is one you highly value. A lot of your assistants have been head coaches in their time. How important is that, and how impactful is that to have?
As I say all the time, I have no ego. They've won a lot, I've won a lot. Everybody brings a different value to the table, and I think it takes a group of strong-minded people to be in the room and understand that, hey, this is what I've been doing. It's time to shake things up. So what I've learned in leadership is that I don't need to be the smartest person in the room, and I don't want to be the smartest person in the room, because when you are the smartest person in the room, my circle's not big enough. So those guys have added, like I say all the time, they've added tremendous amount of value. I've been practicing the same way for probably at least 18 of the 23 years I've been coaching, and Coach Cunningham came in and wanted to shake some things up. And most coaches would not even allow you to do that. But I allowed him to do it. I said, it won't hurt. Maybe we can give a shake of things. It was the same way with Coach Cole. The way we did our off-season program was done the same way. We kind of mimicked the fifth quarter program at the University of Alabama. And Coach Cole came in, and he's basically changed the way we did things in the off-season. And look where it took us. We're 4-1 right now, and I think everybody has added and played a role in the development of our kids, the development of our program, the development of the organization. There's things that we still got a long way to go, but I guarantee you, if they only spent a year with me, 2 years with me, my life has been blessed and my life has been changed because of their presence.
The 4-1 Allen Yellow Jackets take on the 0-5 Clark Atlanta Panthers this coming Saturday. Coach, what are you expecting to see from the film you've seen of Clark Atlanta offensively?
They're big. They're physical. They try to get after it. I love their O-line. I think they do a tremendous job. I like the two tackles. I think the quarterback can be difficult at times if you allow him. They want to run the ball. The running backs are big. They get after it, for what it is. I don't know. Every 0-5 team ain't really 0-5. You take ourselves last year, we were in every ball game. I think that the challenge is for us to be able to stop what they do, and for us on offense is to keep us from turning the ball over and doing stupid things. And we got to start fast and finish strong.
I think back to legendary college basketball coach at UCLA, John Wooden. He had a quote one time that said, you have to value character over reputation, because reputation is how other people view you. Character is who you are. And more times than not, in the sport we live in football, your reputation is your record. An 0-5 team, it's easy to judge them at 0-5. But you said you don't feel like they're truly an 0-5 team. What do you feel like is the character of Clark?
I think they just haven't gelled together. You got a coach who came in and had to restructure and rechange who they were. He had to get the players that he needed to get in. And sometimes it takes a little bit longer to be able to get the kids to buy into what you're selling. So I think that's where he was at in that stage. And I can see talent on the field. I can see people doing things that they need to do. It just haven't all came together for him yet.
Well, Coach, you turn your attention to Saturday. Now, Saturday's game is back to a 6 o'clock start. All the September games for Allen were at 7, where October back to 6. Coach, as you prepare for that one, it's the month of October, or if you talk to Coach Clark in the weight room, it's Squat-tober. Are you in there anytime for Squat-tober this month, working on the legs?
I'm not working on my legs. I mean, you don't get a body like this at no weight room. You know, you get this in the cafeteria.
Teddy Keaton, he's the head football coach here at Allen University, and the Yellow Jackets will be back in action this coming Saturday night, October the 7th, to take on Clark Atlanta. Well, for Teddy Keaton, I'm Kay Crenshaw. We'll see you next time right back here on Yellow Jacket Football.